Hello, welcome to Z Gadget Review. I have the Acer Predator Helios 300 laptop, which is the laptop that I use for everything. I use it to edit these videos, do some gaming, different things. I've had the laptop for over a year, we'll say about a year and a half, and I decided that I needed to put new thermal paste in the laptop because the temperatures on it are very, very high. I never really had issues with it, more that it just gets really hot when I'm working on it. It sometimes reaches up to 98 degrees, which is, I know, really, really high. So my hope was that by thermal pasting the laptop, that the temperatures will be lower and that the temperature will ramp up slowly instead of going abruptly from one end to the other. I'm going to do this for the first time. I've never done this before. With everything that's happening with the pandemic and being quarantined, I could not find rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol, so I ended up using hand sanitizer. I did my research and I figured that you can use hand sanitizer as long as the alcohol content on the hand sanitizer is high. So that's what I did for this project. We'll see how it goes. Here's what we're gonna need for our project: Corsair thermal paste, Q-tips, hand sanitizer, screwdriver, skinny screwdriver tips, and a cloth to wipe any old thermal paste. Now we're gonna be using the hand sanitizer because I don't have any isopropyl alcohol or rubbing alcohol. And I did some research, and high alcohol content hand sanitizer works to remove the old thermal paste. The skinny screwdriver tips are going to work as my pry tool because I don't have a pry tool. Also, they're going to work for any small screws that might be in the system. And another screwdriver to help as a prying tool. And that's all you need. Let's open the laptop and then go back to this. We have 3 screws on this side, 4 in the back, 3 on this side, and 3 on the front. We have one in the middle, one here. I'm not sure if we're going to have to remove this, the doors for the expansion hard drive and the memory sticks. Something to put your screws in so you don't lose them. We're gonna have to remove these doors too because they're actually attached to the bottom of the laptop. So here we have a hard drive that I added. It's a 2 terabyte hard drive. And this is where the memory sticks are. It was really hard to remove this door, but finally was able to. So if you're doing this, be careful when removing it. You don't want to break it. Now we're gonna go ahead and try to pry the sides of the laptop. Here started doing it. I've been able to go on the side so far using this small screwdriver. And that's because I don't have a plastic prying tool. It's pretty easy. I started in the corner over here and I worked my way towards the front. So let's continue doing this here. Actually, now that I've opened it a little bit, I can open it with my fingers. Some parts are going to be harder than others, like this part needs a little prying. I decided to continue on the front, starting on the other end of the laptop. I broke one of these, so you make sure that you're careful. As you can see, we've made some progress here. So once I went up to pretty much the middle of the laptop, it got really hard to continue on that side. So I decided to move to the back of the laptop to continue opening the laptop from the back. So you can see I just went on this part, and once I did that right side, the other side started popping off very easily. This side right here is the hardest part. So you can see I've done some here. So that's going to be the next part that we're going to do, trying to remove that side. And at this point, I can just use my fingers to slowly pry the laptop very carefully, making sure that I'm not going to snap it off. So it turns out that we have to remove the hard drive cage because the ribbon cable that attaches to the hard drive is attached to the lid of the laptop, and if I was to pull it, if I was to pull the top once I open the laptop, I will snap off the ribbon cable, and that will be the end of the hard drive. I grabbed this smaller screwdriver in order to get on this side because this side is so far being the hardest one to do. I don't know why, but it just is. And here, these little pieces right here are the hardest ones because they're really small. So you want to make sure that you're not going to break it. So eventually I figured out what my issue was and what it was that was giving me so much trouble. And it was because I had forgotten to remove one of the screws. I finally did it, and once I did, the lid just came off. So that's the inside of the laptop. It's not as dirty as I thought it would be. It's not too bad for having the laptop for a year and a half. Next, we gotta remove the cable that's attached to the battery. Then we gotta unplug the fans. There's one plug there, and then there's one here under the tape, which is kind of hard to see. So let me get something to pop it open. And if you can see there, that's where the cable is that needs to be unplugged. So we're gonna go ahead and do that next. So we pop it up here, just pull it carefully and it comes off pretty easily. Then the fan, there's one here, and the same thing, you just slide it back. You can use your nails to just pull on it. It snaps off like that. And then we have this one with the tape, which is really hard because the tape keeps covering the actual plug. So we're gonna peel this back, and I'm going to, now the tape is attached to a ribbon cable, so you cannot like tear off the tape. You gotta be careful when you're pulling the tape back. So once we did that, we gotta remove the screws around the fans and the heatsink. Once we remove that, we'll be able to clean and apply the thermal pasting. All right, now this should be able to snap off easily. And there you go. Look at that. We got it out. It's a little dirty, but not as bad as I thought it would be. Let's clean it up. Next, we gotta clean the old thermal pasting. So we're gonna grab the hand sanitizer, a Q-tip, move it and slowly take off the excess, and we got started. And it looks like it's working. Look at that. Look at that. It's working. Look, it's clean. Now I have cleaned both sides. There's no more thermal paste left. So now we can move on to removing the rest of it. Now that it's clean, we can go ahead and apply that thermal paste. So we have the thermal paste is Corsair XTM 50. I'm going to have a link for the thermal paste in the description section. So if you want to buy this thermal paste, you can go ahead and do that. So we have the thermal paste here. This is a spreader, but we're not going to use it. So here comes the part where everybody always cringes because some people do too much or too little. We'll see how I do. So we're going to apply a very small amount. You don't need too much of this stuff for it to do what it needs to do. The instructions say a right size dot or dollop. So we got that there. It's a very small amount. We're going to do the same here on the other side. And here we go. We did it. That should be enough. Now let's put it all back together. So make sure the fans are aligned. Make sure that once you have the fans aligned, so if you start with the fans and then you just plop it down, it should be pretty easy. Now we got to plug all the cables that we unplugged, so the fans and the battery. We'll start with the battery. Now let's do the fans. We'll start with the one on the left. This is a little harder because the plugs are small, so just be a little patient. And then you put it there and then you snap it in with your finger. And then this one is going to be harder because of the tape. You know, we got to keep the tape away from the plug in order to snap it into place. And here I'm using the screwdriver to help me because my fingers don't really fit in that area. Now that we're done, cover it back again with the tape like nothing happened. Now we just gotta put this back on it. Let's see if this works. Make sure I didn't break anything. Yeah, there we go. All right, so as you guys saw, I was able to start my computer again without any issues. I've been using it for a little bit. I'm actually recording on it right now. And the fact that it's running well is like makes me very happy because it's the only laptop that I have. And so I'm glad that it worked. The temperatures are still going to the 90s, but it ramps up very slowly. And when it gets there, the highest I had is like 93, I think it is, and that's when I'm rendering videos that are very long, 10 minutes or higher. Then it gets really hot. And what I've also noticed is that the temperature drops faster than it did before. So when it gets to the 90s, then it gets to about 70 or 60 within a minute or two. And that's a lot faster than it did before it had the thermal paste. So I am happy with the results. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you saw that someone who has no experience doing something like this can do it, meaning that you can do it too. Hopefully it gives you some more confidence to tackle a project like this yourself. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. If you have any videos that you want to see like this, again, let me know in the comment section as well. That's it for me. Go ahead and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Hit that bell so you can be alerted anytime there's more videos coming your way. And thank you very much for watching.